Hey folks, did another one of these and managed to have sound problems this time, but I think it's listenable, but just to forewarn you, it gets a little bit crackly in places. We'll get it right one day. Hey folks, we're back again. It's me in my lovely abode and Simon in the archive.
Yo.
Reading a magazine, as he should be at all times.
Yes.
Today, we are going to cast our judgmental eye over some cars that don't belong to us. So we really don't have a right to say how good or bad they are, but we're going to. Now, these. Hello?
I've got an interjection. It appears the moon disc debate is pretty much finished. Everyone thinks moon discs are a bad idea. And even though they're all wrong, I'm going to concede some level of defeat.
Well, when I eventually build the Volvo 480, and if you haven't watched the video yet, I'll link it, or it'll be below or something. Then go and have a look at our previous video of judging Simon's, or talking about Simon's images, and then where I judged that he had made a terrible error by putting moon discs on a Volvo 480.
And I thought he was wrong, but apparently he's not.
So
it hurts.
It's a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
When I eventually build that car, I'm going to do the moon disc thing just for you, just so we can put to rest whether or not it was ever a good idea.
I may still be proven right.
It's true.
But everyone else will be wrong. I'll be more right when everyone else is that wrong.
Exactly. That's the correct way to be. Is more right. Right. Okay. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So let's see if technology is with us or against us today. And I'm going to start with this. So actually, before I go anywhere, this is the Retro Ride Showcase. And this is for cars that have been complete. So we have our Reader's Rides, which is our build threads. And then we have our Showcase, which is our complete cars. And now this is very new, so it doesn't have a lot of threads in it. So this is where we are picking cars from to cover. And I am going to stop sharing that one, and I am going to share one of the ones that I have picked. So,
and I don't know what you've picked.
And you don't know what I've picked.
So this could be, if you pick something really bad, I might just go instantly, and then we'll all be in trouble.
Well, that's an entirely valid opinion.
It's like a react to video now, isn't it?
Oh, good Lord.
Like, oh wow.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get millions of subscribers and I get sponsored by some water manufacturer or something.
And maybe later we can open a box.
Oh, box opening, yeah. And then I can celebrate 1 million viewers and buy myself a Ferrari. Right.
In a box.
In a box. I'm going with this. So I'm going to go to the top of the thread, the immediate reaction. So this belongs to Mr. Dean Flowers, a man of many cars.
He's a classy dude.
He's a classy dude. And he built this a little while ago. It was bought and sold last year, as I said in the thread. It's a V6 Ford Probe. And I picked it because it's a car you don't see done nicely very often.
It's a car we've discussed doing with. I must have had a conversation about Ford Probe so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed to say, because it's on Retro Rides and I should know better, I haven't seen this, and this looks great.
That's fine. That's kind of the thing with Retro Rides is it is a little bit sprawling.
Yeah.
And finding things can be a little bit tricky. So part of the reason I made the showcase was to make this a little bit easier to find sort of complete cars, because the build thread section is huge, it's vast, and some of the cars are complete and some of them are just a chassis getting painted in a garage at this point. So I thought I'd have somewhere for people to show off their cars, so that's here. So yes, this is Dean Flowers doing with a Ford Probe what everybody should have been doing with a Ford Probe, which is makes them look nice rather than putting gigantic chrome billet wheels on them and doing horrible sticker jobs.
It doesn't sound too bad. The chrome billet, I was all right with the billets and stuff. That's cool. I think I have done a probe, and I did put billet wheels on it, but not stickers. So Yeah, maybe I'll show you that at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely. Maybe we'll have to have a look. So yeah, I just like this because it's a better take than any probe I've ever seen done.
Yeah.
It
Is that
sits nicely.
like US spec rear lights on that or something? I would see, because I'm not prepared for this. We'll get a car. I don't even know what it is, but that's definitely a probe. Yeah, I think that looks like it's been US spec'd at the back or something.
More than likely, he has an eye for detail, does Mr. Flowers. I like the way it sits.
I don't.
You don't? You want it to be lower?
Not in a horrible critical way, because I'm aware these things are difficult and also personal preference, but sitting a little bit rear high, in my opinion. And it is my opinion. And don't get me wrong, my own van, which I drive every day, sits too high at the back, and I haven't sorted it yet because it requires more effort than I can be bothered. But my personal preference would have that sitting a little bit lower at the back.
I think that's legit.
Yeah, not in a horrible way. It's if I would built this, it wouldn't look as good as that. There'd be a lot more that I maybe wanted to do but hadn't done, and he's got a lot further on the scale in that. But yeah, I'd go a little bit lower. But the fact that we disagree on that means that it's a personal choice.
It wasn't so much that; it was more the overall stance of it. So, I mean, I don't know how hard these things are to drop on the floor, but he hasn't gone that whole route down to as low as it could possibly go. It's still a relatively performant car. I mean, it's got slightly stretchy tires, but not massively actually at the front. I think that might be pretty normal. But
see, I think the in the first picture that we're looking at from the rear three-quarter view there, that's where that extra height that I'm seeing on the back is showing itself. Whereas it looks pretty slammed at the front there, and a little bit not slammed at the back. And I'd like to see it a round slam, really. But the side view looks a bit better. But yeah, I mean, again, this is a good car. I'm not just saying this so that no one hates me. This is a good car. But if it was a little bit lower at the back, it'd be a bit better, in my opinion. How many times can I say "in my opinion" in this? Do you think?
Well, actually, we can answer your question here. You got US rear lights, US rear bumper, US wing mirror, US headlight covers. It's
So I had spotted the US specness of it. So it's worth me being here.
It's got a 220 brake horsepower engine. That's nice.
I wasn't expecting that, but that's pretty cool.
And it's sitting on coilovers. So
he doesn't do things by halves, does he? I think we'd all envisaged this as a quick build. But this probably is a quick build for him, but he's put some work into this.
It's really well thought through as well. I mean, I've been in trouble before on the internet many years ago for over analyzing builds and the way people color match and color code things. But as someone that when looking at building a car, not that I've built very many at this point because the one I was building is taking forever due to issues. When I look at these things, I don't naturally have like an immediate eye to go, oh, if I put this bit, and this bit together, it's going to look good. I have to actually think it through. Whereas I know there are other people, you could give them anything, and within a week they'd have an amazing looking car with all matching little bits and pieces that I wouldn't necessarily think to color match. So what I like on this is actually like these lights have kind of like a cool back almost to these. To this wheel, and this is as it says US spec stuff front and rear, so there's like effectively one color coming through here, and then at the back it's all red when we come back up here, pretty much as legally as it can be. So I really like that, and then just everything else is black. It's just there's just quite nicely subtle.
It's interesting what is resisted actually there, because it's not like a big tint on the window, which you'd think you might want to have a sort of a little go at, but it's not done that, and I quite like that choice. When there's, I say obvious choice, when there's something, if you're following a theme that would probably go with it, and you don't choose it, it means you've thought about it a bit. You've thought about it a bit, and I like that. I like the lack of tints. Also, you're stuck in that you can tint the back more than you can tint the front windows. And you end up with it would probably ruin it if you had too dark a tint on the back and then not at the front, and it would be illegal if you tinted the front too much. So I reckon he's made a good choice there.
I think from an overall car point of view, I just think if there were more of these out there that looked as good as this, there'd be more probes out there being built. Despite the front wheel driveness of it, like people don't like the front wheel driveness of the probe, and I get that. Like as effectively the successor to the Sierra, you kind of like it to be a rear wheel drive car, and it looks like it sort of should be. But at the same time, you've got 200 plus brake horsepower in this, going down the road on sticky rubber. You know, it's going to be fun. You know, it's a good car to drive, and it looks great. I mean, equally, it could also be you could take this car, look, style, everything, and it could be the Toyota Celica that's a very similar shape.
It could.
That are also dirt cheap at the moment.
It could be a Porsche 924.
It could be a Porsche 924 or 944 as well.
Pretty similar. You're right. Yeah.
Pretty similar looks. That's one of the things I do quite like doing is seeing a shape and seeing what's worked on one of that shape and then sticking it on something else. I think that's always to be what's the word? Encouraged.
I mean, I would always do that. I'd always look at a car and go, yeah, and I know you do the same thing, is that you look at a car and you go, well, that's really cool. And then you go, instead of going, I'm going to go out and build that again, I'm going to build something that sort of like reflects that, but is something someone else hasn't done.
Yeah.
It's an easy trick, but it works. It's like, you know, we saw that Datsun at SEMA and thought that would work well on a Spitfire or an MX-5 or any number of things. So yes,
I think that's true. Right, so I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second.
Do we give that like a score or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Are we just inventing this format on the fly here?
Inventing formats on the fly is what we do.
No, we think about everything. To take that back.
Yeah, to the nth degree. I think scores are a good idea, but I'm terrified of them. Because what would they be out of 10? Do we then do them for various different things, or do we do an oof factor? Boom.
Factor. This is like top trumps now. We should make a note of whatever we're doing and then release top trumps in 3 years' time when we're collecting our millions. Because of the drink sponsorship.
The Monster Energy drink sponsorship. Hit me up. So
I quite like Asda Squash.
Okay.
Do you think that's a sponsorship?
Yeah, I think we can get Asda Squash.
Oh, refreshing.
It's beautiful. I'm green tea, if anybody wants to. In a retro red mug, which you can't get anymore. Limited edition. Yes, so let's give it an oof factor. What's your oof factor on that, Simon?
Are we going out of 10?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
I'm going to give that. I don't want to save some, but I'm going to give that an 8.5. We're in with the halves.
That's interesting because I was coming straight in with 8.5 as well.
Boom. But we didn't discuss having half points, and we've both done them. So 8.5.
It's maths, baby. We can do it. Decimal points exist. Let's use them. Right, I'm going to bring up my next one. If I can wrangle my computer to do computerized things, it's going to surprise you. And clicky button. Renault Dauphine Ondine. This is the top spec of Dauphine.
It's metallic. So, it's very unusual to see a metallic one, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's not factory, is it? It looks like a Volkswagen Stratos Silver.
So what we have here,
which clearly is not,
is Dick Hemmerwurst from Amsterdam.
Nice.
International. That's their 61 Ondine. Ondine. David pronounces French badly. And he's had it for more than 20 years, which you can probably read there. It was a 4-speed box with a 1096 engine, 2-tone interior, 6-volt bone stock ride height. It describes it as a wavy carnival ride when you drive it.
There's a Dauphine that's been slammed that was in the Reader's Ride section that got sold recently, I think, and that got slammed, and that was not a good ride. If you read, even the guy selling it was like, this thing is awful. I think he put on it, having driven like slammed Volkswagens, a slammed Renault was awful, and I don't know that many standard Volkswagens that ride that well, not air cooled.
No. There is a thing. Slamming cars makes them look cool, but doesn't make them ride any better generally.
Not my experience. I have that conversation with my wife every time. Are you going to lower that car? Yes. You're not going to lower it too far, are you? No, this time it'll be sensible. Next thing I know, it's, she won't go in it.
So now a little bit of this. You can see the stock right out here.
Yeah. Although it's not like massively. It doesn't look like crazy high or anything.
No.
If they'd said they'd taken, scroll down a bit more.
I'm going to keep going.
I'd believe them if they said they'd lower their front a little bit. So it can't be.
Yeah. Probably. I guess the springs sagging, but who knows? Because
interior's nice, isn't it? And the steering wheel's nice. In fact, I really like a lot of this.
Yeah. See, it's got that whole classy 60s thing going on before people were penny pinching on cars and still designing things.
Yeah, see, that steering wheel would look really nice on
super detail
on something else, wouldn't it? And that detail, I really like that, and I like the interior. Is that stock? Do you think? Did it say?
Yeah. So it's entirely a stock car.
Oh,
it's back when the French had a certain, let's say, je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, that's it. It's every now and then I do think they just switch you for a Frenchman. It's if I couldn't see you were still on the screen, I'd think you'd brought someone in. Yeah, I really like that. And I love the colour scheme. You could apply that to something else, including that sort of tartan trim. You notice because the Westphalia fabric's turning up in all sorts of places.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I quite like this little glove box thing.
Little lined glove box.
Yeah. It's just like an extra lovely little detail. So everything. I mean, clearly it's used. Like this is not a show car, and just the lining on the glove box to match everything else is really nice.
And what year is this? 61.
Yeah.
61. So would you rather have that than a 61 Beetle?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Although I'd love to see a set of like Fouche on it and it.
It would be. I'd take one of these. It's also 4-door, which makes it immediately more practical than a Beetle. Yeah. I would take one of these over
an elephant going past my room at the moment. Sorry, there you go. It's gone. Yes, it
happens to the best of us. And a sunroof and everything. It's like a Beetle, but better.
It's a deluxe one, isn't it?
Come at me, bros.
I have to say, let me just quickly go back to my previous statement about putting Fouche on it. First of all, that's how I pronounce it. I don't know about other people. Secondly, I wouldn't put Fouche on a Beetle because lots of people do that and they look great, but you don't want to be that guy. But I would put them on this to sort of say, look, I know about Volkswagens, but I bought a Renault. It's a deliberate use of Fouche to say, this is what I'm up to. I'm aware of Volkswagens, but I'm not driving it.
What's interesting here is the engine out the back. Air-cooled, I believe, on the Dauphine as well. So it is a rear-engined air-cooled car of the 60s.
Is it? There's a lot of hoses there for an air-cooled car.
Well, I
understand that you can do. And mind you, it has got a lot of vents and stuff at the back.
Yeah, I thought this was air-cooled, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's water-cooled, but the radiators are at the rear.
Yeah, because I know that engine. Oh, we're going to have Renault people coming up. Like,
they're going
to be going. Oh,
they're going to be so mad.
Like led towards the Renault 5 or something.
I
don't want to be the guy that says that Porsche engines bolt straight into Beetles.
Well, they do, don't they?
But I think obviously. But I think they are related. I'm pretty sure that you can get maybe an early-ish Renault 5 engine and slot that in the back of there, which suggests they're not air-cooled. I reckon you're looking something up as we.
I am.
You're gaining knowledge. I'm
gaining knowledge about the Villancourt engine.
You know who you remind me of at the moment?
Who's that?
Richard from Pointless. Got his little computer in front of him there. This is the first time I've forgotten his name. What is his surname?
Osmond.
That's it.
I'm not as tall as him.
And you can't tell from here.
Or as successful. It is a water-cooled engine. So these are for the radiators at the back. So I take everything back. It's still better than the Beetle.
Well, obviously, this is one of the rare occasions I'm right. 1-1 with the Moon Disc versus air-cooled.
Going to run and run. What I like about it, though, is you can get the engine, which having had a Beetle with the engine in the back and currently having a Porsche with the engine in the back, you can't get at anything.
Yeah, I think Beetles are easy. Yeah, people take the engines out of Beetles in like 1 minute 40 seconds or something. So, which I understand it took you about 3 weeks to take the alternator out of a Porsche. Yeah,
It's very tightly packaged.
Not non-stop, obviously.
No. The elapsed time is about 2.5 hours. I like this exhaust as well.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's a nice look. But yes, I'm a big fan of this car. It just looks cool. It's just like, as you say, I appreciate someone keeping it stock and looking after these things and taking them to shows and stuff. But yeah, I want it a little bit lower and with some other wheels. I wonder if these are
those are nice. Those are nice trims. I think. I mean, you'd have to get an original Dauphine next to me, next to this one to tell. But I think actually there's like maybe an extra chrome trim along the bottom. I'm pointing at it. Everyone can see it. Along the bottom there.
Yeah, this is the
bumper trim, and I reckon those wheel trims and that sunroof. This is a really good spec Dauphine, and there can't be many of them because I don't remember seeing them before.
No, this is as it says, it's the Ondine.
Ondine.
So it is a like deluxe version. So yeah, you've got nice little bits of trim and extra stuff on it. Yeah, I don't know if these are 3-stud, but if they are, there's many excellent wheels you could put on these.
I believe they are 3-stud, but they're quite a narrow 3-stud, I think. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't give you a PCD, unlike most other cars. But yeah, I think they're 3-stud. And they actually, the smoothie version of the wheels as standard is quite a good-looking wheel. So
it's almost moon disc-like as well.
I don't know moon disc.
No, it's rubbish. You can put some stickers on them. Right. Give us your rating. I'll stop sharing this.
Do you know, that's a difficult one. I do like it. I like it a lot, but it's almost a potential vote. So I'm going to give it 7.5.
What?
But with a little bit of height adjustment, that's going to be up near a 9. And that's again personal preference. But so it's 7.5 because if you showed me a lowered one, I'd be very excited about that. What did I say? 6.5. Did I?
7.5.
7.5. That's where I'm going. 7.5.
Okay, I'm actually going 7. I probably like it more than that number implies.
Yeah.
But partly because it's just a nice classic. I can't go up with the score. So if it was a modified one, a bit more retro ridey, then I would go a little bit higher. But even if it, like, I would happily own that car, but I would still only give it a 7 for a retro ride score.
I would about the same. I would very much like a car like that. But if someone said I couldn't slam it, then I'd be unhappy after a little while. So yeah, I'd love that car, and then I'd love to modify it, and then it's going to, that's 9 territory there with a lowered version. But yeah, I'm giving it. I've forgotten again. 7.5.
7.5.
Don't write it down for the top trumps.
I will, and then we can make our bajillions. Right, folks, I think that's kind of it. So if you want us to bimble about your car for a little bit, head to the Retro Rides forum, stick your car up in the showcase, and we will have a look through and we'll pick another couple. I think next time we're doing this, we're going to be doing some more of Simon's pictures, which I think should be over there if my screen is correct and it's recording correctly. And then we'll come back to doing some more checking out of other people's cars. Asda, hit us up.